talking about premarital counseling and healthy grooming habits, inshallah. Firstly, we'll talk about premarital counseling. This has been a topic discussing on our WhatsApp group, and because of its importance, the organizers still feel we should recap it a bit. It has to do with what needs to be done before marriage for our single sisters and precautions to be taken for we the married ones. The first thing we'll be discussing will be genotype compatibility. How compatible are you with your spouse or your Mr. Right or to be, inshallah? These are a graphic showing the compatibility of our genotypes. As we can see, if you are AA genotype and your companion is AA, it's a very good, in fact, excellent. You don't have fear of what their genotype will be like. It simply means all of them will come with AA. It's actually 100% sure that all your children will be AA genotype. Then if you're having an AA plus AS, it's good also. This AS simply means a carrier. This S means a carrier. You are carrying a gene that is susceptible to sickle cell disease. Do we understand? Sickle cell disease is actually a genotype deformity. And when something is genetic, there is no change about it. It lasts forever. I hear a story that someone was SS and he was treated and become AA. There's no two way about it because it's genetic, it's in the blood. And have you heard of blood as a revolution, a change of entire blood in the body? That's not possible. So if you have AS or you are SS, so that's how Allah has destined and that's how you live with it forever. So if you are AA genotype and your companion's AS is good, inshallah, there is less crisis, no crisis. AASS, also good, you actually have a child as a carrier. AASC, SC and SS are similar, they have same features. All the crises that sickle cells comes with, the SC also come with it. Yes, so if these compatibility are good, but this is where the problem comes, AS and AS. You have only 25% of getting a child with AA. This is what happens. This A will join this A to form a child. That's AA co. Then your S will come with this A and you have another carrier, AS. Then it comes again, this S will come with this A to give you another carrier, then S with S, sickle cell. So you have 25% of getting a child with AA genotype, 50% of getting a child with children with carriers as in AS, another 25% of sickle cell. Are we together? Then here, AS and SLs. You have a carrier, one carrier, two sickle cell, and another carrier, that is two carrier and two sickle cell. But what I want us to understand is that it must not be your first child AA, as it does not follow orderly. It can change. Allah have his way of doing it. Your first child might be sickle cell. That's here. Here is AS co. You are expecting to have a first as carrier. No, you can actually have SS as the first child. So anything can happen, but these are the percentage of its occurrence. Here, SSR. There's not to worry about it. So, for all the single sisters and brothers, please, before we actually think of settling down, let's go for premarital screening. Let's know our genotype. And the next thing is blood group. Your blood group. A positive, B positive, irrespective of any blood group, is actually, you don't have power over that. But where the problem comes now is the resource on it. That's positive. If it's negative, For the sisters, if a mother is a rhesus negative and the husband is positive, then there is a problem. Because our body is designed in a way that when a foreign body comes into it, it tries to fight it out. We have body soldiers. Whenever a microorganism is inside your body system, you try to fight it out. They are called body soldiers. They protect you. So actually, before you actually fall ill, some mechanism of protection have already taken place, but it depends on your immunity. So here now, if a mother is a rhesus negative and the husband is positive, her first pregnancy now determines the rest parity children that are coming. Because if it happens that the first seed that is sold happens to take the father's positive, and yes, rhesus positive, then now that positive is an foreign body to the mother. So you actually create a change there. Then the body will notice a foreign body inside her and will try to create a resistance for another foreign body that will come up in future. Are we together? Are we? Yeah. That's what happened to vaccine. That's why we get vaccinated. What vaccine simply means are weakened antigens, microorganisms that are being introduced into the body so that your body soldiers will be activated. If similar microorganisms are coming, they will fight them for you. So now this one is also a foreign body going into your body. So the first baby will survive it. You give birth to that baby, fine. But if you are not given an injection to prevent the body soldiers from fighting against the next ones coming, you might be having multiple miscarriages. Because anyone that comes in now, this antigen that has formed, the antibody that has formed soldiers, they will fight and just make your baby go. Are we in the picture? Yes. So that's why premarital counseling screening is very, very important. Then we have sexually transmitted diseases. Of course, we all know if you're signing into marriage, there has to be sexual intimacy. Without that, marriage is not complete. So since we know there has to be sexual intimacy, then you need to know who you are going into this relationship with. Know your spouse status. We have HIVs, hepatitis virus, and hemorrhagic virus. Hemorrhagic viruses has to do with the viruses that are contacted through blood. But the most important ones now is the HIV and hepatitis B. I know all of us know much about HIV, but the hepatitis is more deadlier than HIV. You know why? Because the HIV actually have some drugs you can be on. But hepatitis deals with the liver, and anything you are taking into your body, drugs you are taking into your body are actually metabolized in the liver. So if the liver that is metabolizing the drugs now is getting faulty, then there is a problem. That's why patients with liver diseases are only given palliative management. They just treat them to relieve pain, but they are called terminal diseases because it's only transplants that can actually make them survive, and it's hardly done here. So that's why hepatitis is very, very dangerous. But we have, the good thing about it is that we have vaccine for it. If you know your spouse, if you are so in love that you just cannot separate from each other, you go for a vaccine. You go for hepatitis B, C vaccine, so that you create an antibody that will fight against this virus when it's coming in. It won't even come in if you have that. So please, let's try and so that's the importance of premarital screening. It actually stops us, it prevents future complications. There are spouses that after knowing their status, they still go ahead, knowing the fact that they might still get sickle cell patients. It's okay. You might be lucky, Allah will make everything work out. But sincerely, the stress, the crisis children go through, as a parent, you can't bear it for long. If it happens to you, of course, you will take it in good faith, but it's not easy, talking about the financial effect of it and the stress the frequency of hospital visitation, the screening is actually worth it. Are we together? Now, inshallah, we'll be discussing about the main topic of the day, healthy grooming habits. Before I start, please, what do you understand about the topic, healthy grooming? What comes to you when you hear of healthy grooming habits? What health? First, what's health? Who can give me a definition of health? Thank you.
Mine is healthy grooming habits, keeping fit.
Okay, keeping fit. MashaAllah. Any other person? Pardon? Okay. Thank you. Are you? Okay. From the definition, I understand she's a colleague. MashaAllah. Health simply means a complete state of physical, mental, social well-being, emotional, and not necessary absence of injury or diseases. Most of us understand, and a layman understands healthy person to be someone that is not in the hospital. Come? If you are not sick, you are healthy. No, that's not what health means. It's beyond that. Even if you can be sick financially, if you don't have money, you are not healthy. Are you? And you can also be sick emotionally. So health has to do with everything that revolves around you. The physique, mental, psychological effects, everything. So in health line, we understand healthy to be a person. That's why we have psychological sociology section in hospital environment. So people might come, they don't really need any injection or medication to be treated. I read an article 2 weeks ago that has to do with a colleague. A doctor was in a consulting room, and there is this big folder that came, and he was looking at, this patient has been frequenting the hospital almost every day for the past 3 to 2 months ago. So when she came in, he asked her, what's wrong? She said, I'm having headache. Same complaint, that has been her complaint. And treatment has been done, malaria, she's still not getting well. So he now asked her, Madam, what is wrong with you? She started crying. So obviously, she's sick but not sick. She's sick but not physically. Psychologically, she was sick. She now started telling him, actually, she's paying a fine of how many million because she's actually a nurse. That a patient was rushed into the facility and gave up immediately. So the people that came with the patients were like, do something. When they wanted taking the corpse, as in the way she was not polite, the manner she responded, she was like, am I the one that killed your mother or that? So that man took it and said it was her ignorance that made the patient died, and he took the case up. And she was asked to pay millions of naira for that. And she went to beg this man. He told her the truth, that I actually know you are not the cause of the death, but the way you responded, I want to teach you a lesson. So please, health workers, let's be careful. Same thing happened yesterday. I was on duty. In fact, I'm supposed to be on duty now, but thank God we're two. So the other person is covering. This woman came, she's pregnant. She's in labor, but false labor. So the doctor said she inject her. If she's calm, she can go. Of course, if it's labor, no injection will stop the labor. The pain will still continue. So I inject this woman. I was expecting her to go. So she said she sit down. She started feeling sleepy. It actually pained her. So it sometimes makes some people to doze off. The way she was rotating her eyes, her husband got scared. And then do something, do something. My wife is, she's dying. I said, madam, she's not dying, she won't die. I made her sit down comfortably because no bed at that moment to lie her down. So later on, I got a bed. Before I even went to arrange for the bed, he was already ranting. This is how you health workers will just come and kill my wife for me. I came here, you just gave her injection. Someone that is in labor. I actually had to call him and explain to him. She's not in labor. If she's in labor, the pain will not go down. But since she's having a relief now, it's not labor. Besides, there's still time. Her IDD is yet to come. He said, that's what you should do. You should call me and explain. You just call my wife and injected her and that's all. I said, sorry. I don't want to have that issue. So please, let's be careful, health workers. So, health does not only refer to absence of disease, but the ability to recover and bounce back from illness and other problems. Your ability to also accept circumstances, events, tragic events, let's say Kaderako, is also part of your health status. It depends on how healthy you are to actually fight that. Mana was talking about a loss of loved one. You know, when I used to attend to patients that lost their child, I would just come, they'll say, go and talk to that patient. I would sit down, talk, madam, baby, oh my father, I actually thought that's all, until it happened to me. When the nurse was saying the same thing, I was like, is that all? Is that what you say? When my husband came to also talk to me, he said, the deed has been done. I said, what has happened? He said, nothing other than what Allah has destined. This is the same thing I used to tell patients. But I was like, you're just saying it plainly. You don't have more emotion. So actually, we don't know how people feel until you're in that situation. So since then, whenever I see a patient with IUD, before I even attend to that patient, I have this feeling of remorse in me. So it's actually good to test you, and that's why you know what people are going through. A house officer, a doctor in children care, his wife was pregnant, she was being managed for BP. So she gave birth pre-term and she was taken to baby care. He's actually the doctor on call that night. So when he was there, his wife was frequenting, calling him, how is our baby? Don't worry now, I'm the one on call. Our baby is fine. In the morning, early hours of the day, the condition of the baby just changed. The consultants, medical officers, almost virtually all the doctors in the hospital were there. They were resuscitating this baby. I was standing. This baby died. He held the baby. He was crying. I said, Allahu Akbar. This is a doctor that will just come and say, so sorry, pa. We did all we could and the baby gave up. And he would just go, that's all. But today, he's crying. Allahu Akbar. So there are lots of instances. A colleague also got miscarried. A month miscarriage, and this is the same person that when a person gets, but when this happened to her, she was shocked. Actually, we health workers, when something is happening to us, before the diagnosis is being made, we start thinking ahead. We think of complications. But if it's for patients, I would think just, if we start having headache now, it's my BP, okay. For layman, we'll be like, I'm tired, let me get some rest. But for us, let me check my BP. Oh, my BP is not high. We think ahead, complications. So, when we say healthy grooming habits, it has to do with things that you do persistently. What you do to maintain your health entirely, sorry. So there are 6 components of health. We have the social, physical, emotional, spiritual, mental, intellectual, or cognitive, then cultural. Inshallah, we'll be dwelling on just the physical parts, spiritual and emotional. Most of the spiritual aspect has been discussed by the presenters that just left. Talking about your relationship with Allah, that's number 1. You try to balance your relationship with Allah. Whatever you do, you have that taqwa. You are doing it fi sabilillah. Sincerely, if you have that in mind, things actually comes easy. I ask myself, how do unbelievers really manage qadar, as in when something happens to them? Firstly, they don't have this belief that it's from Allah. So to fight that alone is something very, very difficult. But as a Muslim, When you have this belief that whatever happened to you is destined to happen to you, and most things happen because Allah really loves you and wants to test your iman. So if you think hard and think that inshallah Allah will replace me with a better one, you have this feel of ease in you. Alhamdulillah for being a Muslimah. Firstly, try to maintain a good relationship with your Rabb. Be conscious of your Creator in wherever you do believe in Qadr. Have the will to change. Allah won't change you unless you change yourself. Malan Nuruddin discussed about the Abi, Sister Salatu. One of them did. Stop making excuses. We're talking about the spiritual and social health now. Things you ought to do to make yourself healthy spiritually. Stop making excuses. You can change or improve yourself if you keep making excuses for anything that goes wrong with you, because you won't see anything that needs to be changed. She said about looking into the mirror figuratively. You try to look within, don't look outside. Then control your anger. Try to control your anger. Don't say anything when you are angry. And don't make promises when you are angry.